Okay, believe it or not, I'm almost 50 years old, and this is the second time I'm doing this today because my GoPro, for some reason, it will upload longer videos than the one that I did for this part of the video, but not this one. And this is the most important one because this is where I'm taking it apart. So anyway, I'll start this over. What we're doing here, we're taking apart Gen 2. I'm just doing a video on how to get the front shock strut assembly out of here. Basically, when you put it back together, it's just the reverse. But what you're going to need for taking these apart, you're going to need a 27 millimeter socket for the front, a 30 millimeter socket for the rear, a 24-inch breaker bar to get the nut off the back side when it broke loose. Your tie rod nut here is a 21. Your upper control arm here is an 18. This is one of the differences between a Gen 1 and a Gen 2. On a Gen 1, these are both 21 millimeter. So you got your 30 millimeter here for your lower shock bolt. The nut on the back side is 30. A 21 millimeter on the tie rod, 18 millimeter on the upper control arm spindle. Your top hat has 3 studs that go through the frame. On the Gen 2, the nuts on the top are 18 millimeter. I take those off from up above. There's going to be a video on here later on how to do that. The Gen 1s are a piece of cake. It's a 15 millimeter. You can get at them. The reason why is, as you'll see here, there's just no room to get in here. On a Gen 1, you can get your hand and an impact ratchet, a battery operated ratchet up in there. It literally takes me about maybe 45 seconds to a minute to get all 3 of them off. If you do it down here with an 18 millimeter, you just have no room to no swing room. So anyways, right here, you're going to want to take these lines loose. This is a 5/16. This is a 10 millimeter, and up here on the frame, it's another 10 millimeter right there. So I always take the sway bar loose from the control arm. That way, it'll let it drop down. I'm just going to do this quick for you. Hopefully, this video uploads. Take a screwdriver here, pop your cap off your hub there. I always take the nut off of the axle here. It just takes stress off of everything. Got that. Air is always your friend. First thing I take off though is the lower shock bolt and nuts. It's just easiest for me. There are torque specs on all this stuff. I've worked on this stuff my whole life, so I don't trust air and I don't trust batteries. I trust my hands. Not a bad idea to torque stuff, but like I said, I don't trust. I trust. Like I said, I've done this my whole life. I know what's tight. And, a lot of these they're a nylon lock nut. So yeah. So the next thing I do after I take that bottom shock bolt out is I take the nut off of the tie rod here. Sometimes you'll have to give this a tap, a nice hammer. I also have a brass hammer. They come in handy. Sometimes you'll have to get on them. Gen 2s, most of the time you don't. I'm just going to pop these lines off of the spindle here. Again, 5/16 for the small one, 10s for the bigger ones. Next, I take the spindle, your upper control arm loose, right up there. And I never drop that, but since we're doing a video, we'll just leave that in there. Good TV, right? The other thing that I would highly recommend you do is spray everything down, all of these with some sort of lubricant. It'll help. Trust me, the Gen1s can be very rusty and hard to get out. So that's a good thing to do. It'll help you. Sometimes I've even had to torch the nuts to get them loose. But I'm just going to give this a tap here. It should pop right up. Like so. So I'm just pulling the bolt out of the shock here. The lower shock bolt. Put some air to it, give it a little push. That's out. Next, I would grab an 18mm ratchet wrench and take, like I said, take the sway bar loose here. You should be able to see it. I showed you before, but basically that's all you need to do down here. The rest of it is all up above. I did a video on how to take the shock, or take the shock, the bolts off the top hat up there. So that's basically it.